As we have gone through the theoretical portion of our project, how we can describe our rules in this project. Now let's see the code, a practical view of our project. These are the simple code shown here. Now what we have basically done in our project, we have done three parts. And first we read a text file, and then our code justify, find out the variables, reserve words, and terminator from this file. And this file, text file, containing many number of words, and in which in these words there are some variables, some reserve words, and some terminators. And at the last our code find out these reserve words, terminators, and variables, and store these all the variables in the separate file, and output file we can show at the last. Now let's see how this code and then how this course work. First of all, there are three libraries at the top. Hash include iostream. This is the basic library used in C++, used for input output stream. Second one is fstream, and fstream is used for file handling in C++. And the last one is regex. Regex is used to handle or create regular expressions. Now let's see in our main body of program. First of all, there is a if stream file. What's if stream done? If stream is used to read the file or text file. After this, we have used file.opencom.txt and ios in. File.open is used to open the file, and com.txt is file name which is used to open and from which we have read the text. And ios.in is an extension used to read the file. Uh, this if statement is used if file is not open or this file is not created, then some particular proper message is shown to user. Now let's see at this thing there are four string variable. First one is na, second one save1, save2, and save3. These variables is used throughout our code, and these variables used to store the result and store the result and output, and used to store in output file .txt. This is the reserve word string and reserve word array, which is type of string. And there are five reserve words we have mentioned already in description or in and first one is Wasif, Kazim, Mubashir, Usama, and last one is WKMU. Now, as we have seen, we have opened the file for reading mode. We now we run the while loop at last, and this while loop is running until a file is not ended, yeah, or text is not, all the text in the file is not read or processed. This line file input operator and na is used to read from file, and the file is the input file, and na is used to read from file and store and the result is stored in na. Next line is int length is equal to na dot length. This is used to store the length of na. Or na is a result storage or output from file word by word. Next one is string. There is a declared new array of type string, and its length is length. Its length is they consist of the word length. The greater the word length, the greater the array length. There is a for loop, and this for loop is used to create a string array from the word na, which is the output from the file output input file. This for loop is used to create the array, and in array the for loop for and in array the output world is stored in the form of elements, and we can say it we can use this to split the word or string word in the array. So we can easily use this for our code of our purpose. This is the main thing, regular expressions. Reges, reges is a built-in function. and B is a name, or this we describe a function we can use, or regular expression. The whole line is used. Whole line can make a regular expression of type in which starting letter is digit 0 to 9, second and last one is a capital alphabet A to Z, and in between there are many number of small alphabets, but at least one, because plus is written here. And the last next regular expression is first two capital letters, capital alphabets A to Z, and the after this there are many number of small letters, small alphabets, and there can be null also. Now, as we have given the project three basic questions, or three basic tasks. First one is naming variables and their rules. Second one is reserve words, and the last one is terminator. First if is used to identify the naming variables, and second else if is used to identify the reserve words, and the last else if is used to identify or find out the terminator. Now let's see what the first if is used and how it is done. There is a basically a first interstate integer is equal to 0. As now we can make a diagram in our mind, as we are going through a DFA, and we are at the starting state 0, and I is equal to 0, and this is used to process through the loop. This is the loop, or we can say this is a DFA. This is a DFA we can made, or we can create to pass out the string or naming variable accepted. This loop is running till the length of the word. We till the length of the word or array, and this is a switch statement. And there are three cases in switch statement: case 0, case 1, and case 2. Case 0 is if first digit, first letter, or first element, or first occurrence is a digit, then this statement is run, and result is true, and state becomes 1. Else otherwise, if digit is not given, the first letter or first alphabet is not digit, and alphabet or some other variable, then we can move to state 4, which is a deadly state. Next one is case 1. Case 1 is used to match the in between elements small alphabets, as we have mentioned, A to Z. And what this regex match function do, ARI is the element which is which can be compared, and REGS is a regular expression, and regex match can match regular expression and variable. If this matches occur, then result is true, and if statement is run, otherwise else is run. In this if this two state one is state is equal to 1, as we have mentioned, there are many numbers of small alphabets between the capital letter and digit. So many time this statement is run, state is equal to 1, always state is equal to 1. Else if if capital letter or single capital letter occur, then state is equal to 2, and we move to the final state. And in the last there is a case 2. If I is equal to 2, state is equal to 2, then we can move to this case, and the loop is break. We can so we can reach the final state. At the last there is a if statement we can use to identify is there the word is accepted or not. If we reach the final state, state is equal to 2, and the word is also processed, whole word is processed, there is no element left in there is no element left in word, then we can say that the element is accepted. Now the second task is reserve words. Reserve words is used, and we have already described the above. There are we can use reserve word array of string type to store the Vasif column. And compiler is basically use a symbol table to identify the reserve words, or we can say an array or container used to store or identify the reservoirs, as we can use the reservoir. Now let's see how reservoir portion works. This there is a for loop, and for loop is used to compare if first else if in regress match, this regress match compare reservoir and Regular expression, if regular expression is match is result true, then for loop learn for loop. What for loop can do? For loop is used to compare the reserved word and the array elements. We have reserved word array elements. If any word is equal to of our word, then the result is stored into save 2. And the last one is else if, which is a terminator task. Terminator task is used as there is a simple na is a we can say word. And if na is equal to alpha at the rate of an hash element, then we can store the result in save 3. As we have go through all of three if statement, else if statement, and else if last else if, we can find out the first naming variable, second reserve word, and the last one in terminator, and we can close the file. At the last, we can create a new file, and this OF stream is used to create a file or write or read a file. File for the open used to open the file, and the file name is result1.txt. This is already same as we have discussed above. This used to if file is not created or match, then give a certain proper error to user. This is the basic function. This is a basic line used to write data in text file. Variables are there are some headings or some see output options. And save one, in save one we have stored naming variables, and reserve words. In save two we have stored uh, reserve words, and the last one in save three we have stored terminator. At the last, we can read the file from input file, and we find out that naming variables, reserve words, terminator, and at the end we can store them into new output file. We can show, then there we can close the output file. This is the whole code we can create to make of our compiler, and apply all the rules we have discussed, and we have given the task. As we have go through all of our code, how code works, and what are these line can do, and these statements. Now let's see, let's execute of our code. First, this can build our code, and then it can execute or run. There is a building, our code is building here. Seeing it takes some time, so wait for it. As our code is building, I have show the output file as seen. Output file is empty, and the input file we have read is written here. There are some number of words we cannot identify which is variable, which is reserved word, and which is terminator. But but our code is so intelligent, and did which can who can identify the variable reserve words and terminator. Now let's see. Just 1 minute. Now I can given the path here of our file exe file. Now let's run. As I have shown you, the output file is empty. Now let's see, output file is filled with variables, reserved words, and the terminators. This is the whole project we have made, or this is the compiler we have created to find out the variables, reserved words, and the terminators. That's all from of our sides. Thanks.